Hi everyone, I'm Mason, and today I'm going to be showing you a step-by-step guide on how to create a Dungeons & Dragons character using D&D Beyond's character creation system. Dungeons & Dragons is the most popular tabletop RPG in the world, and has seen a resurgence of popularity in recent times thanks to shows like Critical Role and The Adventure Zone, and being broadcast on streaming platforms like Twitch and YouTube. Today, I'm going to show you how you can join in on the hype that's sweeping the world and start your own adventure. So, the first thing you're going to do is go to www.dndbeyond.com with an end, not an ampersand in the middle. D&D Beyond is the official website for Dungeons & Dragons, created by Wizards of the Coast to help new players get into the game. Once you're there, you'll have to create your own D&D Beyond account. You can either create one using the site, or if you already have a Google, Twitch, or Apple account, you can easily sign in. Once you've finished creating your account, you're going to go to Collections, and then click on My Characters. This will take you to the character screen, where you can see any past characters you may have created already. To create a new character, click the blue Create a Character button on the top right-hand corner of the screen. You'll then be shown 3 different methods of creating your character. The first is Standard, which is the normal way to use the creator software, complete with the option to show help text to see what certain items do or how certain mechanics work. Next is Quick Build, which allows you to instantly create a first-level character using optimum and recommended options that are ideal for players that are just starting out. And finally, there's Randomize, where you can create a completely randomized character using any set parameters you choose. For this scenario, we'll be going with the Standard build. Once you've selected that, you'll be taken to the character home screen. Here, you can type in your character's name, what sources you want to use to help build your character, choosing optional features and origins, as well as different progression options. Most of these rely solely on your Dungeon Master, or DM. They control the world you will be playing in, so it's important to consult with them before making any of these choices. For now, we'll leave all of these how they normally look, except for the name. We'll call our adventurer... Steve. Good strong name. When you're done with that, click the blue arrow on the right side of the screen. Next, you'll be taken to the race screen, where you can choose what race you want your character to be. Each race has different bonuses and abilities which can assist you during the adventure. No 2 races are alike, so there's plenty of opportunities for customization. If you're unsure about what race you want, ask your DM for some advice, or just pick the one that you think looks the coolest. I don't know about you, but I'm a pretty big Lord of the Rings fan, so let's make Steve a High Elf. Once you select your race, you're allowed to select different abilities, proficiencies, and languages that this race gets. In this scenario, Steve gets a cantrip, which means a spell he can cast, and an extra language they can speak. You can pick whatever you want, but for me, I'm going to go with Mage Hand and Draconic. Once you're done, hit Next. Next up is your class. These are like races, in which they are all unique, each with a different playstyle and ability. You want to be aggressive and strong, always raging? Go for a Barbarian. Want to protect your teammates and yourself with magic? Try a Cleric. Want to hide in the shadows and surprise your opponents with your silence? Be a Rogue. If you want to learn more about classes and races, check out the video I've linked in the top right-hand corner and in the description below. Obviously, consulting your DM is always recommended before choosing your first class, but for Steve, let's make him a Rogue, because Rogues are my favorite class. Once you've clicked on what class you want, click Add Class. Once you've selected your class, you can manage your level as well as what abilities you get. Each class gets different abilities, and they each get more powerful as they level up. But since we're doing the basics, we'll start at level 1. Since Steve is a rogue, he gets to pick 4 skills that he can be proficient in, and 2 skills that he can have expertise in. If you have proficiency in a skill, that means you're better than most people at that particular skill. And if you have expertise, you're a master at that particular skill. In-game, this means you get higher bonuses whenever you're rolling using that skill. For Steve, let's make him proficient in Acrobatics, Stealth, Deception, and Sleight of Hand, because he's sneaky. Then, we'll make him have expertise in Stealth and Acrobatics. Elves are light on their feet, after all. Once you're done, hit Next. Next, we're going to be talking about ability scores. There are 6 basic scores that every D&D character has. Strength, which shows how strong they are. Dexterity, which shows how fast they are. Constitution, which shows how tough they are. Intelligence, which shows how smart they are. Wisdom, which shows how wise they are. And charisma, which shows how good they are around people and social situations. Each of these stats is assigned a number, or score. Depending on what number is assigned to that score, you get a bonus. Each of those skills we talked about earlier use one of those stats as a baseline for rolls. The higher your number, the higher bonus you get. If you want a more in-depth look at how stats work and what they mean, check out Critical Role's video, which I'll link in the description and at the top of the video here. There are 3 ways to choose your stats. Manual, which allows you to roll physical or digital dice to determine your 6 scores. Point Buy, which allows you to add to your scores from a preset bank of points. And Standard Array, which lets you assign 6 pre-chosen numbers to your scores. For this scenario, we'll do Standard Array. For our rogue, Dexterity should be the highest, so we'll put the 15 score here. Next, we want to keep Steve tough, so we'll make his Constitution score our next highest. He should be good around people, so we'll give his Charisma a 13. We want him to be wise and to have average intelligence, so we'll do a 12 to Wisdom and a 10 to Intelligence, which means Strength is only our dump stat, meaning the stat with the lowest score. Once you're done, hit Next. Now here's the fun part. Creating a background for a D&D character is one of the better parts of playing. You can design your own backstory, figure out how your character acts, and why they act the way they do. First, you choose a background, one that best describes your character. Since rogues are sneaky, we'll make Steve a criminal/spy. These backgrounds then give you proficiencies and skills, and with tools, game sets, and instruments. We'll give Steve investigation and intimidation, and make him proficient with playing cards and the bagpipes, because nothing says rogues like bagpipes. Next, here, you can choose your characteristics. These are entirely up to you. You can use these bonds, flaws, personality traits, and ideals as written, as jumping off points for other things, or just ignore them entirely if you want. Remember, it's your character. You can do what you want. Work with your DM to figure out what's right for you. You can also input your character's personal information. For instance, everything from their faith to their hair and eye color, height, weight, gender, you name it. Customization is the name of the game, and whatever you want, you can do it. To learn some tips about creating character backgrounds, check out this video here, and in the description below. When you're finished here, hit Next. Next, you'll be at Equipment. Here you can select what gear your adventurer will have on their quest. You can choose from either a set of starting equipment that you get depending on what class you choose, or you can roll a die, multiply that by a number, and get an amount of gold coins to spend on gear. As always, ask your DM before figuring out which one to pick. For Steve, we'll pick starting equipment. You can pick between these options, which, again, are different with each class. For Steve, let's go with a rapier, a short bow with some arrows, and a burglar's pack. You can also get some more equipment thanks to your background. Once you've selected what you want, click Add Starting Equipment. Before you continue to the next page, make sure everything you have is equipped. To do so, open your inventory and make sure all of the Use, Wield, and Wear buttons are highlighted next to the items, like this. Once you're all done with that, click Next. With that, you're pretty much done. When you want to see your results, simply click the View Character Sheet button. Your character sheet will be on display, with all of your stats, skills, weapons, and gear conveniently laid out for you and available to look at. Your attacks, to hit bonuses, and damage die are all conveniently laid out for you, as well as your list of equipment and magic spells. Each of these tabs are editable and can evolve and change over the course of a campaign. The sheet can also be downloaded as a PDF. And if you want to just print it out too, you can, if you want to go classic pen and paper style, if that's your thing. Once you've finished your sheet, it'll be automatically saved to your account, so you can take a look at it whenever you want. So, That's the basics of creating a Dungeons & Dragons character using D&D Beyond. I hope that this tutorial was helpful to you, and I hope it will bring you a lot of help on your next or first quest into the world of Dungeons & Dragons. Be sure to check out our previous videos on our channel about OBS and using iMovie to edit videos, and stay tuned for next week's video on character creation in The Sims 4. Until next time, keep rolling, adventurers.